In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys a demigod 6'8 build, mate. This 6'8 build is absolutely insane, okay? This is one of those builds, like you guys notice, I just recently made a new build, and your boy can't help it. I went back into the builder, and I was just playing around. Sometimes I'm bored, you know, that my friends aren't online. I don't want to play with randoms. I just sort of go into the builder. I told you guys, I spend as many times in the builder as I do playing the game. And I just found this 6'8 build. Now, this 6'8 build is going to be a VC saver because you can pretty much be the all-around defender. You can guard a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 very easily. There's no, like, literally, you're going to have zero issues guarding them. There's no disadvantage guarding any other positions. But before doing that, I'm just going to quickly show you guys what my 7-foot is looking like. Don't worry, guys. I am getting the clips ready for you. Okay, I'm going to drop this video for the 7-foot just before the new season starts. But in case you guys are wondering, your boy spent every time I spent a healthy amount of time in my career to grind both these badges individually on Hall of Fame. But see, your boy looking like a demigod now. But anyways, this would be a video. This build video would be for another day. The focus today is the 6'8. So what we're gonna do, let's get into the builder. I'm gonna show you this demigod of a build. It's insane. Again, it's a VC saver. It's basically a Dennis Rodman build that can shoot. That's the way I can describe this. A Dennis Rodman build with shooting, because at this point your boy just making straight bangers. So let's get into the builder. I'm going to show you exactly how to make this build. Here we are in the builder. I'm going to be showing you the build. Now you can make this build technically in other positions, but I would highly recommend making it at the center position. You guys, I'm going to explain a little bit why as well. So for the position, we go center. For the height, we're going to go 6'8". Okay, we're actually going to go minimum weight. Now, the one thing you guys will realize when you go minimum weight, you guys will see that in a second, you still get an 80 plus strength. A lot of people focus too much on the weight and not the attributes you're still going to get. People are like, oh, minimum weight. But if you still get like a 90 strength with minimum weight, why wouldn't you do it, right? So with this version, as you guys can see, we went 215 max wingspan, of course. So rather than looking right, let's get into the actual build in itself. Let's see what the build is looking like. Now, every time I make a build, I'm always learning from individual builds. Now, for example, the recent build I just made, which is my 7-footer, okay, that essentially just tells me that close shot is a dying art of the game, okay? Unless you're a center that wants to shoot a lot of post hooks, close shot, in my opinion, like, it's not the most important badge to have in the game. And also, the way you're going to be playing with this build, you're going to be more of a running in, popping kind of guy. So you're going to get an insane finishing with that 93 driving dunk. Now, I'm not going to lie, I know it's a bit late in the year right now, but for me, if you're going to make a center build, if you're going to make a rolling build, that 93 driving dunk is almost a must. I would say 92, because 92 gives you the Hall of Fame era wizard. But to get all the elite contact dunks, you know, just go 93 to be safe, right? And also, as you guys can see, this build also has shooting, okay? And you have a high standing dunk, so you can still dunk underneath the paint. Now, the playmaking, you're going to have to put that down because this is more of a lockdown defensive build. And as you can see, this is where the physicals and the defense is the biggest part of this build for me personally. Okay, look at this. Now, the first version I made, I actually had to tweak it a little bit because that version had a higher vertical, slightly less acceleration, and a slightly less perimeter defense. But I know the way you guys like to play the game. This version, in my opinion, is actually better than the first one I originally make. But as you can see with this version, bro, like, this is an insane build defensively. You can guard anyone with these stats, okay? You have a high interior defense. This helps you with centers. If you guys don't know, you only need about 80 interior defense to guard a lot of these bigs. But having 82 always gives that Hall of Fame workhorse, which I always tend to go for. You get an 86 perimeter defense, which gives you silver clamp, so you can clamp up like a lot of the guards. You can bump them. Okay, you get 90 still, which, you know, if you're playing as a center, you get gold interceptor. It helps you with that. If you're playing on-ball defense, you still get silver glove plus 90 still. So it still also gives a high chance of being able to strip a lot of these ball handlers. You also get a 93 block, which gives you access to gold anchor. And with gold anchor, what that does is it allows you for contesting the paint, you know, for centers, and also for guys that like to run a 5-out. Say you're defending in the 5-out settings, they're going to be bricking. Okay, if you contest them, it's a straight brick. Now, this is where the build goes even crazier. You get a 99 offensive board. You get a 97 offensive rebound, which essentially gives you Hall of Fame rebound chaser, and it also gives you a Hall of Fame pogo stick. So you're going to be snagging like crazy. Now, what people don't understand about how this game works, now, I've been playing center pretty much, I would say center is like the position I've been playing 70 to 80% of the year. And I am telling you, having an 83 speed, if you don't believe me, make this build, go to the build and go play with it. You're going to outrun every center on the build, like on this game, because a lot of centers, even my 7-foot center has a 75 speed, okay? This build has an 83, okay? You're probably wondering, why didn't you make this build at 6'9"? Why specifically 6'8"? My logic behind this build was I was trying to find the fastest build that can get Hall of Fame Rebound Chaser. That was my goal in doing it. So I worked my way from 7 foot all the way down to 6'8". Okay, the 7-foot builds, if you want to get 99 Rebound Chaser, like you literally have to, your speed is like a 72 or a 70. I don't know what your speed is, but it's not the highest. If you're 6'11", it's like a 74 or 76 or something like that. If you're 6'9", 6'9", you have like an 80 speed, which is all right. But then, what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave a screenshot of, I put the exact same stats of this build on my 6'9", and he got nowhere near the same amount of badges. Now, it was so funny because I sent this build to my friend. I sent it, and he's like, "Oh, the 6'9" is better." Shout out to Lilo. He just said the 6'9" is better, and he replied within like 2-3 minutes of me sending him this build. And I'm like, I know he didn't look into the builder. I know he was just his problem nowadays is, Lilo, I warn you, you're watching too many of these comp guys. Okay, a lot of comp players nowadays are trash. Okay, I was lucky enough to be in the era of the best comp players ever. Okay, 2K17, 2K18, and 2K19. They had one of the best players on the game. Okay, so I know, what comp players look like. A lot of players nowadays are just fake comp. I just call them fake comp. A lot of them use the 6'9", which is fair enough. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave a screenshot of what the 6'9" is looking like right now on the screen. And look at my current badge setup. As you can see, you get less defensive badges on the 6'9". You get less shooting badges on the 6'9". You get less finishing badges. You can't even get 80 stand and dunk on the 6'9" version of this build. And you get less speed as well. So, listen, it's up to you. I know you guys are obsessed with the 6'9s, but just, you guys don't have to follow the meta, bro. You don't have to follow because everyone else is doing it. You think by yourself, go into the builder, go learn how to make these builds, and you still get very, very good shooting on this build as well. A 78 is all I use on my builds. I don't go any higher than an 83 ball right now in any build right now. So for me, this build is an absolute demigod, okay? The stats are insane, the finishing, the defense. Like, imagine your friends are like, "Oh, bro, we've got a center, man. Like, we don't need a center in this game." You could be like, "Nah, don't worry, bro. I can play lock." They're like, "Oh, bro, we need a center, bro. Unfortunately, we ain't got a center." I'm like, "Nah, don't worry," because your physicals are insane. You have an 81 strength, you have an 85 vertical, so you're gonna be jumping out the blocks. You can easily hold your own. My 7-foot builds, they have like an 80 strength, and they're fine. So 81 strength is more than doable to be able to hold off everyone. But yeah, so this build is insane, man. Like, for me, these are one of those builds, like, as soon as I see a build like this, I'm like, oh my god, here we go again. Fear's gonna have to make another build. But what I have to say though is, listen, if you've never grinded a 6'8 before, this is why I think a lot of people tend to make the 6'9s, because the badges are just a little bit easier, because limitless takeoff, for example, is tier 2, which basically means you can literally get it off rip. You can get limitless takeoff off rip. Whereas a build like this, you have to play with no limitless takeoff, no slithery, to try and get those finishing badges, and it is long, trust me. It is a very hard grind for the 6'8. That's why a lot of people, in my opinion, are probably just put off for the 6'8, because the badge grind for the finishing just takes too long. But anyways, this is the crazy build, and again, I will definitely make this build. So let's go into the takeovers now. The takeovers are insane, okay? You get all the takeovers, in my opinion, that you need as a player. So you get the sharp, you get the lock takeover, and you get the rim takeover, and the rebounding take. So depending on how you're feeling, depending on what position you're playing, say for example, your friends need you to play lock this game, and you're going to be guarding ball, you can just run double lock take. If you're going to be guarding the paint, you can use rim protector. If you want to just be an absolute snagger, snag like crazy, you can just rock double rebounding. So this build allows you to be very, very, very versatile. I really, really like this build. And yes, I love playmaking on my builds, but the defense is so good that I'm happy to sacrifice playmaking on a build like this. And yes, I will make this build, but it'll take me a while to make this build, just because I want to enjoy my current builds for a while. I've got like a couple, like 3-4 builds I enjoy playing on, so I want to play on them for a little bit. So maybe towards the end of next season, when the season is about to end, I'll probably end up dropping this, making this build. If the name of the build, if you are curious, you're gonna get it right here. It should be called a two-way interior finisher, which I like, because every time there's an interior finisher in your name, a lot of players tend to sort of back up in the paint thinking you can't shoot, okay? So this build is insane. Let me know what you guys think about this build. If you've seen a better version of this build, also do let me know. And before I leave, this build, the 6'9 version, is definitely not better than this build. Okay, the six this build is better than the 6'9" version. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, I'll be dropping the 7-foot video in a couple of days, and yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one.